You've read his work in Time magazine. You've seen his skills in National Geographic. And you know he's covered wars.
I've covered wars, you know.
Now, join Frank West as he returns to the scene of his greatest endeavor and his most shocking story, to LARP!
This Sunday at the Willamette Parkview Mall, Frank West comes to lay the smackdown on some jabronis and remind you just why he's top dog in voodoo journalism. Featuring appearances by a clown with Down syndrome, Steve Bloom, a helicopter, and announcing the triumphant return of Jesse's Rocking Tits.
Bad zombie. Only I can motorboat those.
Adult seats just $5. Kids and old people not allowed. Without a bucket of fried chicken for me. You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Call now to order this Frank West commemorative flight.
So how the fuck do you make a gamer feel old? Do you quote a meme from 2 years ago? Do you provide him with measurements of how much his ball sack sags from when he was a youngin'? Let's take a game that came out a year after the gamer graduates high school. Then, 10 fucking years later, release it on the current generation of consoles. That's how you make a motherfucker feel old. 10 goddamn years ago, Capcom came out the door with what would become one of the most frustrating, heaviest learning curved, and one of my favorite games. Dead Rising. Released originally in August 2006, I was a year out of high school and buying shit with my own grown-ass man money. I was playing on a CRT television, and even then the aesthetic and graphical fidelity were through the fucking roof. The only problem was, I literally had to Google how to save, because the jokes about not being able to read the damn text on standard definition are 100% true, 0% exaggerated. It's legit. Too fucking legit to quit. So when I heard they were getting the HD treatment, i.e. they were being upscaled and re-released, I jumped all over that shit. Though you wouldn't know it's the HD port because they just reused the packaging, and I believe the game was already in 720 anyway. It was already HD, so focusing on that really just isn't a good focal point. Anyway, I'm a fucking loser with a GTX 660 who just now got a replacement secondary drive, so I decided to just call it even and get it for the PS4. So with all that out of the way, let's fucking rock and look at both the past and the present with Dead Rising. You are Frank West, photojournalist supreme. You aren't just some regular fucking journalist. You've covered wars.
I've covered wars, you know.
Fucking wars.
I've covered wars, you know.
No, not piddly fucking skirmishes. Full-on motherfucking war.
I've covered wars, you know.
But he totally bitches out the second the idea of shooting at a person comes up.
I've never fired at a person.
First and foremost, Frank is a well-beloved character for good reason. We don't just love that covered wars joke because it's cheesy. I personally love it because it's a cheesy attempt to assert himself as a tough guy in an unsure situation that ends with him just falling apart in the face of real adversity. Frank is cocky and vulnerable and having to rise to an occasion that he is completely out of his depth in. He is ridiculous enough to be lovable, but he plays the straight man enough to be grounded and identifiable. We have all been Frank West at some point in our lives. And now that I'm done sucking his dick, we can move on. Frank is doing some scoop on some sort of riot, which turns out to be fucking zombies. He meets Antonio Banderas, some randos, and then Brad. Brad is the everyman beat cop style Luke Cage wannabe working for the DHS investigating what the fuck is going on. His partner, Jesse...
Ooh, Jesse, you sexy whore. Juicy as titties and all.
He and his partner Jesse came here looking for a man you run into at the entrance plaza. Brad goes looking for the old man and we run into Carlito and the story starts to take off. The Mask of Zorro is trying to kill us or some dumb shit and we are charged as a fucking journalist with finding out the truth of what is going on. I don't want to go too deep into the story because if you have not played it, it is best experienced blind. If you have played it on the other hand, you already know it beat for beat like I do. Suffice to say that it's truly intriguing story with some damn good writing, some fantastic voice acting performances, and some truly tragic backstory. It's just really fucking good. Atmospherically speaking, the game is thick. So thick you can cut it with a knife. The mall is quiet with just some music playing over the PA in the background, and yes, that jingle will stay with you forever. Wind and the hum of electricity and generators accompany outside segments. The music playing over the PA, however, is accompanied by the soft moaning of the zombie hordes, and really only kicks up during boss encounters. It shuts off after the mall closes, helping add to the atmosphere of being trapped in a building. The game plays very slowly and deliberately. You're forced to take in not only the gravity of just the situation, but every action and every piece that comes into crafting a scene. Cutscenes are paced, crafting the mood of the setting. Meeting Brad and Jesse,
Sweet, voluptuous, juicy Jessie.
for the first time takes place after the zombies break in, and it's frantic, matching the narrow escape, confused, matching running into random governmental figures, and driven, matching Frank's drive to investigate. When Frank is just talking to people, dialogue is deliberate and calculated. Frank carefully considers his actions and wording to get the best answers. Brad
And sweet, sexy mama.
provide calculated, glib responses at first to create distance and shade for governmental secrets. As everything begins falling apart and they agree to help each other out, Brad keeps Frank at arm's length, helping to ensure they get equal effort out of each other, and my golden goddess maintains the agent profile to keep Frank from getting too close to information that he really shouldn't be getting near. On top of all that, the psychopaths are wonderfully designed. Adam being a clown whose mind just snaps as everything falls apart, Steve Bloom going through PTSD flashbacks, just genuinely awful people now having an excuse to just free their insane beasts and tyrants respectively. One thing that makes zombie horror so good is that it's the familiar at a level that we cannot reconcile. The zombies are just humans who have become monsters. They deserve no blame because they can't help what they are. The psychopaths are the monsters who were familiar but removed their masks, and now we see them for what they are. The best zombie horror always blurs the line and makes you question which is worse, the dead or the living, and this game does it flawlessly. Mechanically speaking, the game features a lot of depth. Leveling grants you skills and bonuses to stats, improved health, and extra carrying capacity. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like what you get when you level is actually on the random side, which adds another level of uncertainty to the game. And speaking of mechanics, almost everything you can imagine is a weapon, but you knew that it was part of the marketing. What you may not have known is all the interacting you can do. Heating pans on stoves for special attacks, cooking specific foods, mixing drinks for temporary power-ups, running on treadmills, punching bags, all of which grant you extra experience for leveling up. Simple stuff that requires some playing around with to discover, but actually benefits you greatly. Snapping pictures is also a good way to earn XP at low levels, and even some scoop chances require you to take pictures. It's a deep game with a quantum fuckton for you to do and see, but mechanics are where the game's bar of entry gets so high. Hitboxes don't seem to be very consistent on where Frank will get grabbed. I've played this game who knows how many times and I still can't tell you what a safe distance is, and I'm willing to bet that that's intentional. Where the mechanics or precise input and detection start to fuck you, however, is in the special skills. Special grabs require you to input the jump and grab button simultaneously. And keep in mind, this is Capcom, the guys who made Street Fighter 4's one-frame combo link windows. So you pretty much have to press the buttons within some 1 or 2 frames of each other, otherwise Frank will jump or punch and risk taking damage. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but genuinely speaking, I'm okay with it. And don't get me wrong here, this game is fucking hard. The best weapon you have access to in order to make the first encounter with Carlito any level of easy is locked behind a boss you have to cheese with the doors and pistols. Yes, Cletus. It's time consuming, he has a lot of health, and you have to cheese his line of sight or he will deal a fuckload of damage to you. This game is not your friend. Just about every single enemy outmatches you in skill, and where the zombies are less skilled than you, their sheer numbers make them a huge threat. You will fail a lot your first couple of times. And believe it or not, that's actually a good thing. This game is not meant to be completed your very first time playing it. It's incredibly hard to start a level 1 run and reach the final ending, which I did for this episode, because even though the last time I played it was late 2007, muscle memory and routine kick in super fucking hard. This game requires learning and a lot of it. It also requires a lot of planning. You have to know where to go, when to go there, the best path for it. It's a speedrunner's dream! Except it takes like 7 hours from start to real ending. And everything is on a time limit, and that can be a turnoff for a lot of players. But let me help reassure you, this game is relatively short, and it's made to be played multiple times through. If you get yourself locked in a corner and lose the story, you can save, exit, and start a new game at your same level. Or you can complete the 72 hours learning non-story bosses, figuring out survivors, learn the map, and even level up to not just get experience, but knowledge and skill of the game, and one of the 5 endings of the game. You can then start fresh at the saved level from the end of the 72 hours with all your newfound knowledge and skill. It is made to be completed multiple times. It's difficult and demands that you learn how to plan and pathfind, and it does it really fucking well. And of course there are a couple issues with the port. Correct me if I'm wrong, as the last time I actually played this game was late 2007, but I thought your zombie kill count carried over with you between games. It does not here, which as I said, I seem to recall it doing so. It's not that big of a deal, as you're going to be doing the same routines to get the zombie genocider achievement anyway. And some of the AI seems to have died a bit. The second fight with Carlito involved Brad just running up and getting killed. I had to find a way to get Brad out of line of sight and then run up to Carlito with the hand chainsaws. The HUD likes to flicker as well. There are a few issues with the port, but quite honestly, they're not big ones. Although my buddy Alex informs me that on PC, the mouse moves way too fucking fast when using the map, and he couldn't find a way to fix it. I mean, what the fuck else is there to talk about without spoiling too much? Characters are really well done, story, atmospheric crafting, gameplay, and voice acting are very tight. My sweet Aryan queen...
Stop it, Necro. She could never love a wretch like you.
has the most rocking tits in all of gaming, in one of the most rocking games in all of gaming, in one of the most rocking zombie stories in all of zombie stories. I haven't quite decided if I'm going to do Dead Rising 2 or Off the Record yet because, quite frankly, nothing truly captures the atmosphere and feel of the game like the first time it's there. That first impression is so fucking strong and you really can't recapture it. We'll see. This is definitely one of my favorite games of all time, and it's 100% worth playing. It's $20 on PS4, Xbone, and Steam, so you absolutely know it's worth the cash, and you can probably find it for like $5 on the Xbox 360 at GameStop. Get your hands on it. Keep your damn hands off my luscious lady. I'm the TheNecroswanson, and you can go fuck yourselves.
Clean up! Register 6!